All right, everyone, welcome to week 12 of Selling Weekly Lottos. Every week, I sell what's the equivalent of lottery tickets to gamblers in the stock market using options, and that's how I make passive income, and that's how I'm coasting while retired early. Let's start with the disclaimers. Number one, I don't use margin. Okay, guys? No margin. All my calls are covered. All my puts are cash secured. All right. Number two, I'm okay with buying the shares and I'm okay with selling the shares. I'm not married to my stocks. I'm totally okay if they get called away. And number three, this is not free money, guys. This is risky, okay? Just imagine if you sold a lottery ticket to someone for $1, and even if they have a 1 in a billion chance to make $1 million, what if they win and you got to pay out that 1 million to them? All right, but you would have only made $1. All right, so this strategy, hoping they don't win and hoping that you at least sell 1 million lottery tickets for $1 each before someone wins $1 million off you. Okay, so there is a risk there. It's not free money. All right, that being said, the winner this week is me again. Okay, 11 out of 12 weeks I've won. All right, this week I made $687 using $116,250. Okay, let's go ahead and just take a look at the positions. I'll just put them both up there. Boom. All right, first one was an iBit 68 call. Sold 5 of them, all right, for about $300, and I bought them back for $40. That's about a $256 profit, all right? And then an NVIDIA 165 put, all right? Sold that for almost $500, bought it back for about $50. That's about a $450 profit, all right? So about 687 total, all right? So kind of not that pumped up of a week, okay? I've been very risk averse, all right, this week. Only made about 0.5% yield. Let's go ahead and take a look at my benchmarks. Boom! All right. So as you can see, this week I only got a little bit above 0.5% yield. Okay, $687 out of $116,250. Doesn't seem like much, but that's only because my previous weeks have all been pumped up, all been crazy. I've been getting 1%, over 1%. I think one of the weeks I got 2%. All right, that's nuts. That's bonkers, guys. Even hedge fund managers using like quant, using like complex algorithms and mathematical formulas to trade, those guys aren't making 1% consistently. 1% consistently is, in my opinion, totally unrealistic to be able to do consistently. But 0.5% is actually what some of the people in this community, they find that to be a good benchmark, okay? If you can make 0.5% per week using this strategy, that's 26% per year, not even compounded, just 26% a year. That's where you're getting to the point where you're matching these hedge fund managers. And if you think about it, if you have $100,000 for this strategy and you make 26% a year, that's an extra $26,000 a year. If you can get to $1 million, all right, you could be making $250,000 a year, all right, with just 0.5% per week if you can manage that consistently. So 0.5% a week is actually my benchmark. That's what I go for. That's the ideal minimum amount that I'd like to get every week. All right, guys. One thing I do want to talk about is I did sell the NVIDIA puts during earnings. All right. A lot of the people in the community, people, Theta Gang, who like this strategy, they the general consensus that I've seen is that people say don't sell options during earnings, because of the higher risk. You sometimes after earnings reports, if the earnings are really good or really bad, the stock can go down 20%, 30%, something crazy, and so they want to avoid that risk. All right, but me personally, I like to sell options during earnings. If the stock is a stock that I like, then I'll sell them because the options price does reflect it. So last week, the Nvidia puts that I sold, the 165s, if it was just a normal week without earnings, I maybe would have gotten like $100 total for those contracts. Maybe not even, maybe $50. But because there was earnings, I got almost $500 for those contracts, for 5 of them. And what I'm looking for, first of all, I did believe Nvidia was going to beat earnings, and I did think that the price was just not going to go anywhere. It wasn't going to go up, it wasn't going to go down. So what I was looking for is what's called implied volatility crush. So with the earnings there, the contracts are priced higher, all right, because of the implied volatility. And as soon as earnings is over and the price doesn't go anywhere, the contract will completely just get decimated, all right, get demolished. And that's what's called implied volatility crush, because now, since earnings are done, there's no more implied volatility. So despite Nvidia not going anywhere in price, it actually did go down a little bit. The contract dropped 80 to 90% because there's no more implied volatility. Earnings is over. And so that's what I like about selling options during earnings. But I do agree it is a little bit more risky. I'm okay with the risk because the only companies that I do this strategy on are stocks that I like to hold long term. So even if Nvidia did end up going down 20%, I would have been happy to buy the shares anyway. All right, so not much else to talk about. Overall, I think I'm still doing really good. At this point, now it's been almost 3 months into this, I'm gonna be more focused on protecting the profits. All right, with this strategy, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, with this strategy, there's an asymmetric risk. You can lose a lot more if someone wins than you would gain if you just sold a lottery ticket, right? So one bad week or one bad month can ruin months of consistent wins. So that's where the risk management comes in, the capital management. And the main thing I'll be doing going forward is making sure I don't lose all these profits that I took 3 months to make. And I definitely don't want to make the next video week 13, week 14, or week 15 telling you guys how I lost everything and have to start all over again. So yeah, just keep in mind that these following weeks, probably all of September, I'm probably not going to be getting like crazy returns, but I'll keep updating you and letting you know how it goes. All right, guys, take it easy.